specific hashtag and actually read through and get a feel for what's going on. So it's just the bottom line is communication. It is a great communication source, both for somebody who's trying to get out a message, but also somebody who's wanting to know what people are thinking.
And tell us a little bit about your Twitter chat that you're doing here at the convention.
Well, this is the first time I've ever done that. I tweet a lot, and I follow a lot of folks on Twitter, but I had never yet had a Twitter chat. And I thought this was a perfect opportunity. So just this morning, we had our first one at 10 o'clock. And by the way, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, the hashtag is AskKW. But what we did is we had our first ever Twitter chat where people using that hashtag were able to ask me questions, and I was able to respond. And man, I had more fun. Again, it comes down to communication. It's a mechanism for being able to get out information. But once again, I was able to see what people actually cared about, wanted to know about. There were some who wanted additional information. I was also able to tell them where they might go for that additional information. And one guy had a question about something I knew nothing about. He asked me, had I ever thought about reforming the family code to do something? I don't remember right now. And the truth is, that could have been a one-word answer. No, I never thought about that. But what we did instead was say, get us more information. I want to hear about that. So we gave him a way to go. So it's been a blast. We will do it tomorrow also at 10 o'clock. Hashtag AskKW.
And so a lot of people here, I'm sure, are very familiar with Twitter and are tweeting right now. But I also think, looking out here, there's some people that may have no idea what a Twitter chat is or what Twitter is. Raise your hand if that's you. Okay, so I can sit here and explain it to you, but it seems like someone of an older generation might be better. That's why they call me Mean Rachel. So, can you explain to some people here that may not know what Twitter is? What is Twitter? And then can you explain what a Twitter chat is and how that works?
Great. And I'll try to be able to stand up long enough to do this. Here's the deal. First of all, you have your Twitter account. You create your Twitter account. You create the handle that you will go by. In my case, it's at Kirk P. Watson. There's a Kirk Watson who lives in Liverpool, England, that's also very involved in Twitter. But at Kirk P. Watson. And of course, Twitter, one of the things about it is you have to learn to speak in 140 characters. And one of the issues that you also have to deal with is, for example, hashtags. When we talk about a hashtag, what that is it isolates the area you're talking about. So, for example, if you use hashtag AskKW, then you can just go to that on Twitter and you'll be able to follow the entire conversation. Hashtag that we're using for the Texas Democratic Convention, hashtag TXD2012, that will put you into that entire conversation. So what happens is you can then do that conversation, but you have to do it in 140 words, and your hashtag characters and your hashtags pick that up. The way we do it is somebody sends a question to at Kirk P. Watson. They show the hashtag, and their question might be, what do you think is the biggest issue that's going to come up in the next session of the legislature? What I would then do is just hit the reply button on Twitter, and it would send it out to everybody. Everybody that's following this conversation would not only see the question that was asked, but then they would see my answer as well. So, again, it's done in 140 characters. Sometimes what I would do is you would want to put a little more than 140 characters. As you can tell by this answer, I tend to talk in more than 140 characters. So what would happen is we would send a second, I would put out a second tweet that might provide more information. But it's a conversation, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, and just to give you guys some background, I started blogging in 2005, and I was really mad about the government's response or lack thereof to Hurricane Katrina. And I wrote a ton of letters to senators and congressmen about the issue. And I waited for, 3 or 4 months to receive a letter back from one of them. So just in 2005, we were having to do this game of, I'm going to write this letter, and maybe I'll hear back, maybe I won't. Probably, the senator or the congressman never even saw it himself. It was probably a staff member or something like that. But now, what's incredible is here at this convention, you can tweet to a state legislator, you can tweet to a congressman, or even a candidate, and not only are they seeing that, it's coming up on their phone. So they're sitting here eating breakfast, reading questions from their constituency and from people like you that care. So you may be kind of hesitant to, want to dive into the world of Twitter because it can be kind of confusing. But the very fact that Senator Watson is investing his time and actually looking at what people are asking him and seeing that, it's a very powerful thing for anyone who's trying to stay involved.
Yeah, and I will tell you, for those of us, so back to your idea of a member of Congress, member of the legislature, for those of us that are in this business, and I mean, I've done it the old, because I'm an old man. I've done it the old-fashioned way. Like where I started. I can hit a whole lot of different neighborhood association meetings and not bump into this many people. You don't have to actually ask a question. You can go on Twitter, follow the conversation, and maybe your question's being asked. You don't have to jump in, as Rachel indicates, completely. You can start trying to figure out how you want to do it, but you can also hear what the member of the legislature is thinking, see what those answers are, and follow up.
Okay, and we are going to have a Q&A at the end of this, so please, if you don't mind just saving your questions for the end.